Welcome to Tell It to Trevor, guys. I am your host, Trevor Shelley, and today I have a very special guest, one of my favorites from GTS Wrestling, Yankee TDM.
Hey man, Trevor, thank you for having me. I really appreciate you having me here, man. It's a pleasure to be here. Um, we've been talking for a while about doing
Yeah.
this, so I'm excited that we finally got it punched in and on live. So let's get it. Let's do this.
What sparked your interest in the professional wrestling industry?
My grandfather, my grandfather. So growing up, I have a cousin of mine in Puerto Rico that also does professional wrestling. Not as famous as, people from WWC, but he's was really out there. My grandfather always watched it with me, and he always had a soft spot for wrestling. Growing up, that's all we watch every Saturday, wrestling. And at the time, I grew up in Puerto Rico. I was born over there, so at the time, all we could watch is either IWA Puerto Rico
Yeah.
or WWC. And to me, that was kids wake up in the morning and they have Saturday morning cartoons. Not me.
Yeah.
I had Saturday morning professional wrestling, and that kind of drew me closer and closer to the sport. It allowed me to appreciate the sport as a whole. And then eventually, I kept telling everybody that I knew and I ran across that I wanted to be a professional wrestler and that I was going to be a professional wrestler. Nobody believed me, and here I am today. So,
Yeah. I remember I was watching Grimm before he started doing the wrestling and everything on the channel and everything, and I stopped watching it for a bit, and then I was like, why not? Let me check on this show, see how it's doing. And then your episode pops up with you making your debut and everything. And I was
right,
like,
right.
I can get behind this dude. He's a pretty chill dude. I like this dude.
Yeah, no, and at the time I remember, I mean, at the time I debuted on there, I was massive. I was a big dude. I was like almost like 450 pounds at the time. I was like heavy breathing, but I tell you one thing. I remember that day because I debuted for RWA. It was like
Yeah.
a rival company, and I
Yes.
remember that day as it was today, when we came up and was like, hey, it would be cool to have you come in as a rival because everybody expected me to come in, but they expected me to come in, to GTS just like
Mhm.
every other good guy comes in. And no, that wasn't it for me. I came in as a bad guy from another company trying to destroy GTS as a
Yeah.
whole.
Which I've seen you on the other side of Grimm when it was the white and black DF.
Uh, that was a
And
very fun. That was a very fun time.
I remember watching it and I was like, I'm not a fan of Yankee just because he's part of Hop's team. Because at the time I was dedicated to watching Grimm only.
Right, right.
And then you turned on Hop and I was like, thank you. I was like, I didn't have to say a word or anything. I didn't even have his Instagram or anything.
That was a very cool moment. That happened at Green Mania. That
Yes.
was a very, very cool moment because nobody expected it. Like
Mm.
everybody, the only people that knew that this was going to happen was me and Grim. We spoke about it, and
Yeah.
I was like, that would be a very, very cool angle to do. I mean, nobody has ever done that in Grim Mania where they're like in the middle of a match, they're like, "Fuck this," and then they just like turn.
Yeah.
Which it was great. It was a very good angle. The match was awesome. And I believe it was like I give Grimm's team the first victory of that day.
Yeah,
So
that was. And then you had Kurt Bale turning on everybody as
right, yeah, yeah,
normal.
yeah, yeah. As always, of
Yeah.
course.
That's like the one thing I cannot stand about Kurt, but at the same time, I love Kurt because he does that.
Right, right. I think that's part of
So,
his thing. Like he's one of those guys. It's like you can only trust him to a certain extent until he
yeah.
actually turns on you.
And that's why I've been trying to like figure out a way to get a hold of him and Lance.
Right, right. That'll be great.
Yeah, because I was like, I know I've seen them both since, how many years have you been on GTS?
Oh my God, Lord. I think I started. Hey, you're making me feel old now. No, I'm kidding. I think I started, I want to say maybe 2017, around there.
Yeah,
So we're looking at about a couple of good years. I mean, talking about maybe like 8 years, something like that.
yeah.
My math, my
But
my math might not serve me correct, but I think it's about 8 years.
yeah, someone in the fans they'll probably leave a comment or they'll see me in public and be like, "No, it's been this many years."
Right. You know what's crazy to this is that
Uh,
fans know more than I do. Like it's insane to me. Like they
yeah,
keep track of every single thing.
yeah.
And I mean, kudos to them because I'll be real, shit, I forget, man.
We used to we had our camera guy. So back to the supermarket episode we were talking before we started recording. We our camera guy, we did not know he was like timing everybody for one of my segments. And this guy got through his third question, and there's always like, it used to be like 8 questions, and you had like 30 seconds to answer it all. So he gets to the third one, and he's like, in time, and that is done. And the guy just like flips out all pissed off. And I was like, man, I was like, this was getting good because he was going into detail and everything.
Right,
And
right.
like it used to be, what was your favorite Looney Tunes character?
Oh, for him or for me?
For him, that was like the
That was
question,
his
like it
question.
used to be. And at the time, I was trying to get a hold of MLB to also get my podcast recognized by them and everything because I'm in the Carolina leagues, like around the areas. And I was like, why not? We got like every team, they're all like roughly a 6 hour radius of my house.
Right,
So I remember seeing a post on Instagram rumored that Raleigh was getting a new baseball team, their MLB debut team and everything. So I was like, why don't we just start like a whole segment where we just come up with names and everything? So he was like, the team's called the Raleigh the Goats. And I was like, okay, what's the mascot? And he's like, obviously me, Dre the Goat, because I'm the goat. And I was like, okay.
all right there.
I was like, no one's gonna pick that. But I mean, people have also told me that they like the Pebbles, Raleigh Pebbles, and I was like, they're not gonna choose that one either, just because if you're gonna try to make North Carolina look good for their first MLB team, they're not gonna choose something like that.
Right, right.
Now, if you said
The
The
role,
Rock, and then you had someone dressed up as Dwayne, I could see that.
you're onto something, bro.
Right. Um, who were your the wrestlers you idolized when you were growing up?
Oh man, that is an awesome question. I hope people know these names, but Ricky Bandera is one of my favorite wrestlers. I mean, I believe for people that are not aware who Ricky Bandera really is, he played the Messiah in TNA. He won multiple championships on AAA. Um, I mean, this guy is well known worldwide, but I think his main role that everybody knows him by was the Messiah.
Yeah,
Before he was the Messiah, he was Ricky Bandera, and Ricky was like the total package, man. Him, Apollo, and that's another Puerto Rican wrestler. You could look him up. Him, Apollo, Carlos Colon, Dula, of course. Who can forget like the rivalries that Carlos Colon had with
yeah,
Abdullah in Puerto Rico? Like those matches were insane. I grew up watching a lot of the Colon family, like Carlos, Carly, which is now Carlito in WWE, his brother and his cousin, Eddie, which is Epico and his other um, tag partner. Um,
Primo.
Primo is his brother, and his cousin is Epico, I believe. Um, I grew up watching them, watching Sabio Vega. It's a lot of Puerto Rican wrestling for me, and
Yeah,
then essentially. Um, and when I was growing up, TV only had, for me, only had a couple of channels in PR. I mean, we grew up very like low middle class in a sense.
Okay.
So, but my cousin did have satellite, and we could watch WWE pay-per-views or WWF at the time.
Yeah.
And that's when I started getting immersed into Shawn Michaels, Triple H, The Undertaker, Yokozuna, freaking Umaga back when he was 3 Minute Warning, like,
Yeah.
ah man, wrestling was so good. The Attitude Era was amazing, dude. And I was brought up on that. So Stone Cold, The Rock, I kind of
Yeah.
look at all those guys and I was like, that's what I want to be one day. It will be crazy. And then you see the fan base for them was bigger than the fan base in Puerto Rico. Like, Puerto Rico, the stadiums will be like, I don't know, maybe 300 to 500 people, and they're like full-blooding loving wrestling fans. And
Yes.
then you look something like WWF at the time, and oh my God, the Monday Night Wars, like the stages were packed, bro. There was no seating room, so it was like that kind of like idolize that feel, and I idolize those wrestlers. Eddie Guerrero is like one of my favorites of all times,
Yeah.
dude. Like that guy's footwork is impeccable, unmatchable. And I know some people are gonna be like, "Yo, that's crazy. Why are you talking about him?" But Chris Benoit,
Yeah.
oh my God, Chris Benoit was amazing in the ring.
I know someone on my episode meant we have a later on question. I'll bring that back up. Someone brought up Chris Benoit for their answer, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to question it because I don't want to like go into details over that.
Right,
But
right. I mean,
talking
for
about
me,
people,
just to clarify, for me, I separate Chris Benoit, the wrestler, and the person, right?
yes,
So like it's his in-ring work. I what he did was fucked, right? But his in-ring
yeah,
work, you cannot match. Like it's not matchable. Like Chris
yeah.
Benoit was a workhorse in the ring. And one of my favorite matches was him and Eddie beating the shit out of each other in Japan. So like can't compare to that. I think that match is insane.
So you were talking about WWF wars that they had on Monday nights. So my dad, me and him, we would go back and watch his like WCW matches that was going on, and he was dating one of the producer's daughters for WCW at the time.
Oh wow.
So I'll be watching it with him online and like going back and rewatching everything, and he'll point out, he's like, that's where that spot is, and I'm like looking at him and I'm like, you just know where all these spots are because you dated the producer's daughter.
Right.
I don't know how you remember all these spots from all these years, but there's a story he has said on multiple episodes. We, me and him have talked about getting him on here. So he went to the bar with Ric Flair, Sting, everybody from the WCW era before the back when the Four Horsemen were all on WCW.
Right.
So Ric Flair would walk into the bar and he would say "around for everybody" in the local bar. And my dad, he was like, "Yeah, it's pretty cool. Every time after WCW, we go into the bar, hang out, Ric Flair buying drinks for everybody." And the one comment I always tell him, I was like, it really does suck because you were underage to get a
Right.
free alcoholic drink
Shit.
from Ric Flair.
I mean, but you gotta think about it like this though. Like it's fucking Ric Flair.
Right.
Like I mean, I grew up watching Rick, and Rick is
Yeah.
probably one of the best who ever did it. You know what I mean? He lived the gimmick. He is the epitome of the gimmick. Like,
Yeah. Do you remember Isaac Koloff from WCW
no,
or
I do not.
WWF? The Russian guy waving the
No
flag
idea.
every time, making a mockery out of Hulk Hogan.
Oh yes, yes, I
Yeah.
do. Yes.
So speaking of it, my dad went to school with his son.
No shit.
So, people thought literally the guy hated the USA and everything. So they
Right.
would bully his son at school because of that. And I was like thinking, I'm like, these people are probably like hating themselves right now over that because like You
Right,
could have been
right.
friends with this guy, and then because after schools, my dad would go to a, a restaurant to go do his studies, and Isaac Koloff would be over there too, and everything, eating and everything, having conversations with my dad,
Right,
and my dad's like, no, his English was pretty good, and I'm like, okay, so it must be like his character wise, that's why he has
right,
to
right.
speak Russian. But
I mean, those people back in the days, I mean, really made it to, I mean, that's something that I could appreciate to old school wrestling is
yeah,
that if you were a bad guy, you will never see yourself, like kayfabe was so alive, you know, like
yeah,
you wouldn't see yourself hanging out with the good guys, you wouldn't drive with them, you wouldn't talk to them in public, like you really hated this character on screen and you stuck to it. And even the families, man, like you said, like this guy used to get picked on because of his dad, and it's like
yeah,
that's how you know they're doing their fucking job right. You know?
yeah. But so it cracks me up because every time my dad brings up all of his stories, and because I'm friends with like a bunch of podcasters in the area, like we have a guy that his whole show is wrestling road stories.
Oh, that's badass.
So, and I was like, I need to get my dad on that show because my dad has all those WCW stories and everything. But I also had a guy on here. His son's a wrestler now too. So his dad was best friends with Rock Johnson's dad,
Oh, that's fucking cool, man.
and the Wild Samoans,
That's awesome, bro. I mean,
and they're also from Puerto Rico too. So
think about like the dynasty of the Samoans, man.
yeah,
That's amazing, dude. It's
yeah.
amazing.
Like he even said on the episode, like he was talking about Umaga. He was friends with Umaga too, and he would tell like stories about like when they would go to the um the food trucks and everything. And I'm like, man, those stories must be good enough to if you're bringing them up on this show,
Right, right.
right out the gate out of nowhere.
That's
I was
awesome.
like, must be good. Um, how did you get your start in the wrestling world?
How do I get my start training? So, I actually, believe it or not, when I was younger, my grandfather, always very supportive of me of doing it. I spoke to him about it. I was very young. I was very, very young. I was like 16 years old, and I started first in Puerto Rico. My cousin, like I said, my cousin Joel used to do his own thing, and then in Puerto Rico, that's when I first got my first feel of a wrestling ring. When I
Yeah,
got to the United States, that's when I started seeking to actually like make myself who I am today. Like,
yeah,
um, but I gotta be honest. My
yeah,
first feel where I was like, okay, this is when I first questioned if this is what I want to be or not.
yes,
It was because I was struggling with my mental health back when I was a
yeah,
very young age. And I was in a boxing club at the time. I got kicked out of a boxing club. My cousin said to me, um, I got into an argument with the coach and I got kicked out. My cousin said to me, "Hey, do you think that you could go back into like wrestling to kind of get you away from everything that you're dealing with?" And so at first I was like, I don't know. So I spoke to my grandfather. My grandfather was like, definitely should try it. He was
yeah,
always the voice of reason for me. So I pursued it. I started pursuing it. Um, at the time, it wasn't very great. I was young, I was naive, I was stupid. I wasn't a very good listener. So hence why I got kicked out of a boxing club and I just wasn't making the right decisions. And essentially I ended up having a kid very early in my life. And right now she's 13, about to be 14. So I was like, okay, I have to do something before my opportunity goes away in a sense.
yeah,
So I met with a couple of guys, Jordan Oliver. He was training up in the Bronx at the time, and I was like, I should go up there. I ended up going up there, training for a couple of months up there, and I just fell in love with it. You know, I was just like, this is it for me. Bronco Internacional in Darrow's gym in the Bronx. That's where I finally was like, this is what I want to do. Like, this is it. Like, I'm like, there's no going back. Like, I was training with guys like Joe Smooth. I was training with guys like Rufus Rio. Like, this guy's Caveman. Like, all these guys were amazing at the time, you know. And I just fell in love with it. I fell in love with it. So
Yeah.
from that moment on, there was no pulling me out. There was no pulling me out of wrestling.
What was your first wrestling match like?
Nerve wracking.
Nerve wracking.
It was nerve wracking. I could tell you one thing. Um, when I first, so I was put under a hood. I don't know if you know what that is. I was put under a mask. And I was just jobbing out. And even then, it was very nerve wracking. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't want to mess up. I didn't want to like screw it up. I just wanted to be there and just do the best that I could do. I mean, the match only lasted like 5 minutes. It wasn't like something
Yeah.
crazy, but to me, it was like it was a rush. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was a rush. I didn't know if I was going to be liked. I didn't know if I was going to be booed. I just I knew that I was there. I was going to do the job, and I was going to get the fuck out. But it was nerve wracking, you know.
Yeah.
I remember inviting my family and shit. I was like, oh, you
Hmm.
know, you guys should come in. I'm gonna fucking wrestle. And it's like, you know, they didn't even see my face because I'm under a mask. So it's like, didn't matter.
Um, what are your goals in the future of the wrestling business?
At the moment, you know, I've been doing it for a while now. But my goal is to allow I guess, impact others for them to do
Yeah.
the same and find wrestling a safe place to be. Um, my daughter wants to become a professional wrestler, so essentially, I would love to pass it on to her. I have four kiddos, so out of those four kids, either one or two want to do it, then so be it. My legacy will kind of go on, I guess. But
Yeah.
um, for future goals, I just like to influence people and impact people's life by just giving them knowledge and giving them what I didn't have, which it was understanding. When I was starting in wrestling years ago, like the understanding was very old school. It's like you do this, you get your shit, you leave. Yeah, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? It wasn't like I wasn't sitting there, you know, I wasn't able to pick as much brains as I wanted to, even though there was a very various times like Tony DeVito and Bronco and
Yeah.
other people that I was able to pick brains with. But as I got older, that's when I became more wiser about who to speak to and who to talk to. But I just want to pass my knowledge on and able to give those people that are looking into wrestling a easy way in the sense of like, hey, you know, if you do this and you do that and you know put yourself for this and put yourself for that and just give them the knowledge that I learned, you know.
Exactly. Can you describe your wrestling persona or character for someone that has not seen you wrestle before?
So I'm a loudmouth brawler. I I pretty much talk a lot of crap, and I'm not a technician by all means. I mean, I do a little bit of technical, but I'm mainly a loudmouth brawler. I talk a
Yeah.
lot, I hit a lot. I'm a hard-hitting character. My mouth does the same. I'm very out there with my wordplay but you know, that's just it's part of the gimmick. So, um, yeah, I think that's the best way I could describe it. Loudmouth brawler. That's it. I mean, I carry a baseball bat. I'm greedy. You know, I'm kind of gnarly. I always wants to beat the hell out of people. Sometimes it doesn't work out in my favor. But
Yeah.
that's just how it is. But I guess that's what keeps the character going, man.
Yeah. Can you share a memorable moment from your wrestling career?
Oh, wow. Let me see. I think one of my memorable moments is there was a time that I was in Goshen, New York, and this is a hilarious story, but I never forget it. It's one of those stories where it was Tony Atlas, it was me at the time. I was doing tag team. I was doing a tag team run with Felix Crazy Rican. If you guys haven't checked him out, he's doing his thing, man. Don Curvin, that's his name now. And I was doing a tag run for a company called ECPW. We were in the locker room in the back, and then out of a sudden, I look at Tony Atlas. It was Tony Atlas. It was Tatanka was there, and there was a couple other wrestlers. And Tony Atlas goes to my partner and asks him to go get him a fucking sandwich. He's like, "Hey man, go out there and go to the deli." I mean, it was fucking 10 o'clock at night. He's like, "Go to the deli and go get me a sandwich." And my partner kind of looks at me. He's like, "Who the fuck is this guy I think he's talking to? Like, go to the deli and get me a sandwich?" The next thing you know, we turn around and Tony Atlas is being stomped on by a girl and her foot. And I like that was like the first time when I was like, uh, this is some shit. Like this is this is some wild shit.
Um, can you describe
I,
the feeling of winning your first championship?
um, very when I first won my first ever championship, I felt good. I felt happy that I won it. I felt like I accomplished something. I mean, when you when you become a wrestler, you kind of learn that championships are not everything,
Yeah,
and is mainly about the moments that you create in this ring with your partner and
yeah,
and what the fans take away from it. It's all a roller coaster, right? You know, we want to keep you invested. We want to keep you coming back for more. So when I wanted, I knew that I wanted more. And I was like, oh,
yeah,
this is great. You know, I felt amazing. The fans are going crazy, and I love that feeling that I got when I won, especially because my kids were there.
yeah,
So I think like that moment of winning my first belt was like very solidifying for me that I was doing a good job and the company was taking a chance on me by saying, "Hey, it's your turn to carry this area of or this division in a sense, because you know, company
yeah,
has multiple divisions. It's your job to carry this division through." So I'm very proud of that moment, very happy, and as my family got to see it even better, you know.
yeah. How do you handle the mental and emotional aspects of wrestling?
I I give it all to God, and I am happy that I have row buddies that keep me grounded because there is times that we're in the road constantly. There's times that I
Yeah,
travel for one show, 3 hours down, 3 hours back up, and 6 hours in a car. Sometimes when I go down to the Carolinas, it's 12, 14 hours, and I'm in a car, and this guy's kind of keep me grounded in a sense. I'm also a Christian, so
yeah,
I give it all to God, you know. The only thing that I could say that sucks about traveling a lot, if you have family, it's very hard to be consistent and be home. So there's a lot of times that I have to see my kids through my FaceTime, which I hate it because I love being present. Um, but I love wrestling. And before I
yeah,
got married, before I did this whole wrestling thing, I'm sorry, before I got married, I was already doing this wrestling thing. So um, I can't really shake it. You know what I mean? But that's probably the hardest thing to deal with in the road is not being there for my family as much as I want to be. Missing those crazy times. I remember, if I remember correctly, I had a show in VTW, North Carolina, and
okay,
at the time it was years ago. I'm talking about maybe like my son is what 11 now, so he was probably like 1.5 or something like that when I was on there,
yeah,
and he was beginning to walk, and I completely missed that. You know, I missed out on that. So it was hard. Like I had to see it through a camera, and I'm like, like, I want to be there, you know, and hold them and stuff, and I couldn't be there. So mentally, it takes a toll. If you're a family man, it definitely takes a toll, you know.
yeah. Um, when is your next match in the Carolinas? Figured to ask that question since
So soon, soon.
soon.
I'm in the talks. I'm in the works with VTW. I'm gonna be coming down there hopefully soon. Um, I don't want to give any spoilers, but
Yeah,
it's gonna be a banger of a match. It's I know my opponent very well. I've been
I think I know
friends.
who you're talking about.
I've been friends with my opponent. I've been outside of the camera. He is one of the coolest uh, dudes that I've ever met. Very humble.
Yeah.
I'm very gracious for his friendship and who he is as a person. Inside of the camera with me in it, I hate his guts, and I'm gonna beat the dog shit out of him.
I will ask the question: has he been on the show before?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know. Who do you think it is?
Um, I want to say X.
No, it's not
No.
X.
Okay.
No. Um, my boy X is amazing. Is
Yes.
I love that guy to death, man. Like I remember when I went to the Carolinas. This is a very personal story. I don't really share with a lot of people, but I remember going to the Carolinas and I was struggling because my family was up here and I was down there and I was dealing with some stuff. And me and X, we sat in the car, and this guy guided me through the whole thing. Like he's the most genuine, awesome, lovable person in the world. Like this guy sat with me, and he spoke to me like I was his brother in a sense, and we went through this whole process of like getting to know each other because of my struggle. And I can never thank him enough for just being that cool of a fucking guy, man.
Yeah.
So.
I
But it's not
know.
X. It's not X. It's not X. So you're gonna be surprised when it does happen. You're gonna be
Yeah.
surprised. I'm excited.
Because I know I've been talking to X about maybe me coming in and doing something with the company. Like we have talked about maybe doing like a podcast, the show's own very own podcast, or me
That'll be
doing
awesome.
backstage reporting.
No, that would be awesome, dude. That would
Yeah.
be amazing.
All right. So we're gonna start this segment. It is called Trev Shock. It is like you're in those business meetings, those rapid fire questions.
Oh, okay.
So I don't have my phone timer on me, so I'm gonna go off the time on here. So you got 50 seconds, and you got 6 questions. They're just
Got it. So
basic
we
questions.
just off the dome. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Nonstop. All right.
Corey Dillinger has the record. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Corey Dillinger?
Yes.
I love Dillinger. He has a record? What's his record?
35 seconds remaining.
What? Oh, damn. He was just off the dome. Boom, boom. He was just not even thinking about it.
Right. His
Ah,
episode I recorded with him, we spent maybe almost 2 hours. Just
wow.
like he was meal prepping and everything, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
I was like,
co-
this is a
co-
little different, but okay.
yeah, Dillinger stays on top, man. I love that guy to death. He was one of my rivals when I first started on my tag team run. We had a rivalry for over a year, and it was just me and Felix chasing the tag team championships for ECPW, and we culminated on Newburgh, New York, on a Puerto Rican street fight or a Newburgh street fight, what they call
Yeah.
it, and Man, that fucking match was like 35 to 40 minutes long and it was hard hitting. The
Yeah.
fans, it was like going nuts. If I ever actually, I think I have that clip. I'll send it to you so you can watch the
Okay.
match. It's definitely an awesome
I
match.
will definitely be watching that match
Yeah,
since.
100%.
And then, guys, don't forget, me, Corey, um, my friend Tommy Okami from Wrestling Evolution, and then my friend Raphael, the Mad Hatter from promotions down in Florida and Georgia. We will all be all at WrestleCade this year.
Awesome.
So make sure you guys come and check us out. We will have T-shirts. They will have their merch, and they will be in their wrestling gear.
That's awesome.
So
You guys better
that
be
will
down
be
there
fun.
checking it out, man.
Yes. Their thing is, I went there last year's, and they had like Sting and Ric Flair in the same room.
Oh, no shit.
So I asked my buddy that waited in line. He said, "Yeah, I waited like 3 hours just to get a picture with Sting." And I was like, "How long was Rick's line?" And he was like, "Nothing." And I was like, "Well, I mean, he is there for 3 days, so."
Right, right, right.
Everybody's just going to pick the right moments and go.
Right.
All right, are you ready to start this
Yeah, let's do
trivia?
it. Let's do
All
it.
right. Favorite pre-show snack?
Protein bars.
Okay. Pre-show song.
Ooh, J Monty, Solar System.
Favorite wrestler growing up.
Um, ooh, I had a lot. I'm gonna have to go with Ricky Bandera.
Favorite sports team.
The Lakers.
The Lakers. Favorite color.
Red, black, and white.
Favorite type of music.
I listen to all of it. I don't have a favorite genre.
All right, guys, and that was Trev Shock. So it looks like you did not beat Corey's time just by going off of the timer. I'm in the time of recording, but close.
Corey, why, son? Why, son? Why?
But close.
I'm gonna message him later and be like, dude, listen, all right, stop taking my spot, right?
You'll know exactly probably what you mean by that.
Yeah, that's crazy. 35 seconds on the dot. Bop, 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 bop. That's wild.
Like me and Corey, after his episode, we've been talking like almost every day just about WrestleCade or
Right, right.
just talking.
Yeah, he's a genuine human being, man. Like, when I first met him, I was like, oh man, I don't know if I'm gonna click with him. And I was completely opposite. Like I clicked right away with Corey. Like
Yeah.
right away.
It's the same thing with a lot of wrestlers. Do you remember the Orion? Well, Orion, who used to
Yes.
be on NXT and AEW.
Yes, I do remember.
So I had him as the first episode of 2025, and I always tell people I'm like, hey, if you're new to the podcast, that's like one of my favorite episodes I did because he opened my eyes to a lot of the stuff in the business
Right.
because I was surprised about everything. So for that, and then I got to pick his mind of getting. He's one of the coaches now with Malachi Black down at the Dark Arts School down in Florida.
Right. Yo, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I got to pick his mind about that school and everything. Try to get more people eyes open on that.
That's awesome, dude. I always I,
Uh,
al- I always find it very cool when people get to speak like to somebody like him that has like a
yeah.
school, and you learn so much by just speaking to a person like that, you know what I mean?
Yes. What are the biggest challenges of being a professional wrestler outside of the ring?
Might get a little personal, but mental health. Mental health. The traveling, like outside of the ring, the traveling adds a lot of stress because you always have to deal with being tired, and then we
Yeah,
have regular lives after this. It's not like we go home, and especially the people that are not in big companies, like they're just in the indie circuit. Like we have to go to work most of the times right after, like
right.
a 9 to 5, and then on top of that, we have to juggle the world. So it's like mental health. I always tell people, especially with me,
Yeah,
um, it's tough. I come home. There's times that I have shows on like a Sunday, and then I have to come home. I get home really late, and then I have to go to sleep. I wake up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. I go to the gym. I work out. Go to work from the gym. Come back home. I don't get home until like 7 o'clock at night, and then I have to be a dad, be a partner, be all this other things. And sometimes I kind of like forget about myself a little bit mentally. So I think mental health is a definitely something that is a big part of being a professional wrestling outside of professional wrestling.
How do you feel about the business side of wrestling and the way promotions shape the storylines?
Creative is always great. I've worked for companies that have good creative system. They know exactly where they want you. They know exactly where they're going to place you. And then I work for companies that don't have it. and they're like, hey, this is you're just gonna have a match, for whatever
Yeah.
reason. Like there's no really nothing there to build. It's just you're gonna have a match. Um, creatively is a creative is a very important aspect of wrestling. Like I don't care what anybody says. You have to have some type of creativity, especially when you have storylines that are going to be shaped for a couple of shows. Um, those storylines got to be solid. And I'm very lucky that I'm part of companies that do have a good creative team and stuff. So,
Yeah. If you could wrestle any legendary wrestler from the past, who would it be and why?
oh, that's a good question. I never thought of that. Holy shit, that's a good question. I think Ric Flair.
Ric Flair?
And the reason I pick Rick is because, yeah, the reason I pick Rick is because he's like probably one of the most all around, like he's charismatic. His
Yeah.
character work is impeccable. His technician, like he's a technician, so that's impeccable. Um, everything that he does in the ring just sells. And I mean, when you look at him and his work that he has done, like
Yeah.
it's so fun to watch, dude. Character
Exactly.
wise, definitely Rick. And honorary mentions, I would love to wrestle Eddie Guerrero. I don't know, it's not possible because he's not alive, but and that's the reason I didn't pick him first because he was not alive. But I think um I think Eddie was like an honorable mention as well.
Yeah. If you could attend a wrestling seminar with any wrestler, who would you pick?
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
If you could attend a wrestling seminar with any wrestler, who would you pick?
Ooh,
Like I've heard
ooh.
Triple H for the business side of wrestling, Shawn Michaels because of his creative ways when he wrestled.
I think, and this is gonna sound crazy, I think Roman Reigns.
Okay.
I think Roman Reigns because Roman Reigns he has went through the fire creatively and he
Yes.
had he created his own formula to
Yeah.
actually being like one of the most over guys in the business. And it's kind of like this modern era John Cena. So like, if you would have asked me this question 10 years ago, I would have told you John Cena,
Yeah.
because they had that formula. But now I would have said probably Roman Reigns, learning from him. I mean, look at what he did for everybody else, in his group. So like
Yeah.
definitely learning from him will be something crazy.
If you could have a wrestling legend as your mentor, who would you choose?
Ooh, Eddie Guerrero.
Eddie? That was that
Eddie,
one I was talking
100%.
about for Chris Benoit that someone chose.
Right. Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah. Eddie Guerrero would. I mean, they're both like legitimately almost the same cloth, man. Like Eddie and Chris are like impeccable.
yeah. Um, what was your favorite moment of GTS so far?
Ooh, I've done a lot. I think one of my favorite moments is one of my favorite and funniest moments. And I say one because I have many, but it have to be when I pulled out a gun in an episode in order to keep my
Yeah.
belt. That thing was so great to film. It was awesome.
I remember the Red Van episodes,
Yeah, yeah. They used to
and
kidnap people, like throw them in the
yeah,
van and take them away.
didn't they one time kidnap Kamikaze?
Yeah, they kidnapped Kamikaze. I believe Prince Akhenaten got kidnapped as well.
Yeah,
There was a lot of
and then
people that
also
just got
had
kidnapped.
Penelope Ford touching the van before walking into the arena when she had to
Right,
wrestle James Ellsworth.
right, right. I believe Soda Pop almost got run over
Yes.
by the van. Yeah, that was a wild. Now that you're bringing that memory back, man, that was a wild time in GTS, bro.
Yeah. I remember, like, I still watch ETS, and love it when Graham's like, the views aren't up, and I'm like, why don't you bring back like some of the funniest stuff from back then? And then bring that
Oh
back and
my
see if it
God, that would be
sticks.
great. That would be
Like if you
great.
did the van again, because they got the whole neighborhood street and everything.
You know what's funny? It's like I don't even think we no longer have that van. I think that van belonged to somebody. I don't know who it was, but um that van it's funny because like people remember the big red van that used to just kidnap people, but I think that van was actually somebody's truck that we used.
At least that guy got his van more famous than he wanted.
Right.
Um, what's your opinion on wrestling crossover events with other sports and entertainment industries?
I think it's a good time to be alive for wrestling.
Yeah,
I think companies working together give opportunities to different guys from different places to experiment on other places.
yeah,
Like now you have the not I wouldn't say merging. I mean, in my eyes, I feel like they might be purchased later, maybe on the future they'll be purchased, but TNA with WWE, for example, that is a partnership that I would never think that I'll be alive to see. I've been watching TNA from many, many, many years. You know, TNA was like the rival company to WWE for so long,
yeah,
and now of course WWE, it's a machine. So that thing
yes,
is hard. It's hard to stop. So having a working relationship with WWE like TNA has is amazing. Giving those guys a chance to perform on a platform like WWE is amazing. Also, Wrestling Noah. They also have
yeah.
a business deal with them, and WWE has a couple of the elementals like WWID and stuff like that. So
They went back involved.
right, right, which is I guess it's going to be on Tubi now on Wednesdays. So
Yes,
it's just amazing to see it. You know what I mean? It's amazing to see all these companies working together. It would be very, very cool, and I know this is not going to happen, but it will be
yeah.
very, very cool to see like an AEW and WWE kind of
I
thing
want to
where
see that just because MJF hinted at going there and then
right.
never did.
See, I will put it like for example, WrestleMania when Roman Reigns lost to Cody Rhodes, um I was expecting like Dean Ambrose to come out,
Yes,
you know.
when you
I
heard
was
that
like,
Shield
"Oh,
music.
yeah." I was like, "Oh my God, is it Dean?" And of course it was Seth, which it's still good as a good choice, but imagine the pop that Moxley would have got. And not
Yes,
even as Dean Ambrose, he could have came back as Moxley, you know what I mean?
yes,
And
absolutely.
that pop would have been insane. And so it'd be kind of cool to see a couple of this. I mean, a lot of people are not happy in wrestling with AEW. You know, you got Ray Phoenix right now that's trying to get out of there.
Ricky
Which
Starks at one point.
Ricky Stark, yeah, Malachi Black, he's no longer there. Miro, it's no longer there. But to each their own. I think it's a good time to be alive when it comes to wrestling, and wrestling is just watch wrestling. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Enjoy it. Love it for what it is.
exactly. I remember. See, I've been watching the TNA back when they were the NWA,
Yeah, yes. That's
which
awesome.
I got to meet James Storms at WrestleCade one year. Well, last year's WrestleCade, and I hopped in and out of his line like 3 or 4 times because I'll be the next in line, and I'm like, no, I can't do this. And then my friend's
I
like, he's like, it's your favorite wrestler, I get it. And I was like, it's gonna be like the same way when you meet Dakota Kai or Cora Jade, and then like nerve wracking.
I met Storm and well at the time they were Beer Money. You remember
Okay.
that?
Yes.
Um Rude and James Storm. And I
Mhm.
met them both on TNA. I went to a TNA event and I was lucky enough to at the time they were selling like the meet and greet tickets, but they were selling
Yeah.
it in the stage. Like they weren't selling it. They were filming in Florida in Universal
And
Studios.
Universal.
Yeah. And
Was that back when they were in the Dixie Carter era?
yeah, 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 Aces and Eights and all that. Yeah.
Yes.
Um I was able to buy the tickets for meet and greets right there, and I was able to go in the ring and meet all those guys and pick their brain a little bit, and it was awesome, dude. Like those guys are
Yeah.
probably the most humble people that you're gonna meet, man.
What advice would you give to an aspiring wrestler?
Don't give up.
Okay.
Sometimes the road is hard, especially with training. Training is something that you're gonna need regardless. Don't ever stop
Yeah.
training. Always find somewhere to be, somewhere to train. Hop in the next, ride to the school, and but don't give up. A lot of people make it to the training. They put in like 2, 3 months, and then they stop going, and they kind of give up on it, and they're like, "Oh, it's too hard," or this isn't. I don't know if this is what I want. Just don't give up, man. Wrestling is
Yeah.
a thing that you have to really, really love in order to make it through. And if you put your effort into it, sometimes wrestling is not gonna love you back the way that you
Yeah.
think it's gonna love you back. You know what I mean? But just give it a shot, and then and continue to push forward. You don't wanna give up because you never know what's on the next stage of your career.
Yeah. Can you talk about a significant rivalry you had and how it helped you grow as a wrestler?
Oh, um, definitely the rivalry with Corey Dillinger and Colossus. That
Okay.
was that was the beginning of my career in terms of tag team, and I knew some, but I didn't know everything. And
Yeah.
not and even now I don't even know everything because wrestling is a sport that continuously evolves, right?
Yeah.
So, but at that time, I was able to have pick Cody Dillinger's brains like crazy, and they taught me a lot, man. Like they were just good
Yeah.
people to me. They guided me through some spots, and next thing you know, just the reaction that we got from the fans, the reactions that we got from the back, the locker room, like you have people chanting, this is awesome, and they were clapping, and it's like
Yes.
I remember, being in the ring, and Colossus is like, this is like the first, and he was wrestling for years at the time. He goes, this is the first time that I've heard that in one of my matches. So that match in the tag team division elevated us, and and I was very happy to be able to do it with those guys, especially.
Yeah.
It took a whole year of traveling with these guys, doing crazy skits to where the cops got called and Corey almost got arrested because we filmed a promo where I was getting into a truck and it was Colossus' truck, and but we were using it for a skit, using it for a promo, and as we're walking to this truck, here comes Corey Dillinger from behind, attack us. Colossus the same, he beats the shit out of us. And then we're laying on the ground, and I guess somebody calls 911 and tells them there is like four fat guys fighting over a truck. And and next thing you know, the cops show up, and bro, like I remember they pulled the same truck over because John, which is Colossus, John was driving the truck, and it was him and Dillinger, and they pulled him over, and I'm behind them, I'm just driving behind them with my family,
Yeah.
and I see them get pulled over, so I pulled right up, and they're trying to get licenses and registration because the car got stolen because some big guys were fighting, and um, that's when you know that we did a good fucking job. So I had to tell the cop, I was like, "Yo, no, 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 this is all that was all we're professional wrestlers, man. This is all a skit, like this is all promo work."
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh, you guys, the guy in the phone sound terrified. Like he was like legit thought that something was going down." So I mean, it was a whole year of us doing shit like that, and so it definitely elevated my career in a sense of learning, putting shit together, and just storytelling.
Yeah. What was it like working with a particular wrestler that you really clicked with in the ring?
Magic.
Magic. Okay.
Magic. It's when you have chemistry with somebody in the ring,
Yeah.
um, there is minimum hiccups. Like, shit goes right to plan. Um, I could name a couple of them that I have amazing chemistry with in the ring. Johnny Reed, he's one of the ones that I have amazing chemistry in the ring. Um, I could tell you right now, Skywalker. I mean, I travel with Young Glory all the time, but those guys, amazing chemistry in the ring. Clark Williams. Great guy in the ring. Now out of that, I remember when I first wrestled one-on-one Jordan Oliver when we was first starting in our careers. I wrestled him one-on-one, and he's the way that he works is just immaculate. Like he's just a machine, dude. And again, when you have chemistry with somebody, you don't even have to speak. You know, shit happens, and you just trust them that everything is gonna work out, and everything does.
I remember there was a guy, what's Joey Joey Janela was at WrestleCade, and I like blinked on who he was, but I remembered where I seen him, and that was after his GTS debut and everything. And I was like, "Hey, good job on GTS," and he just gave me the look like Cap, and I was like, he was like, "Do you even know my name?" I was like, "I know who you are. You wrestle for AEW. I just cannot think of your name at the time."
You're lucky he didn't set his foot on fire and super kicked you.
Yeah. Can you describe your training process and what was the most challenging part of learning to wrestle?
Being big, that was the most challenging part. I mean, my training process was very, I, I wouldn't say cookie cutting, but it was very, old school. It was based mainly in fundamentals and drills and just learning the craft from the bottom up.
Yeah.
But my biggest challenge was myself. It was my weight, hence why I had to drop my weight. Um, it was just difficult even at training sometimes. I mean, don't get me wrong, for a big guy, I had a lot of cardio. I was doing things that I shouldn't
Mhm.
been doing for my size. I was doing moonsaults and suicide dives and all this crazy shit. But that took a big toll on me. I mean, there was times that they will finish a filming or we'll finish a show and I will sit in the locker room and I'll be popping ibuprofens and Tylenols because I was in pain all the time,
Yeah.
you know? The weight definitely was a massive challenge for me. It wasn't much about learning it. Learning wasn't a challenge. Doing the training and drills was not a challenge. For me, the challenge was my own weight, and it was a thing that I could have control. And I mean, I control it now, but
Yeah.
back in the days, I was just anybody that traveled with me back in the days could tell you, oh, Yank will pull up in a gas station and eat like fucking two pizzas, three glizzies. Like I was just like showering down shit that I shouldn't be eating. That was
Oh,
bad, man.
it just hit me. I forgot that you wrestled with Max Caster back at that warehouse.
Yes, yeah. He's great, dude. Hilarious guy.
That was I actually rewatched that episode like last week
Yeah,
because I
yeah. At
was
the time, he was in a group.
called the Ship Crew.
Yep, yep, yep. It was him, Bobby, and who's the other guy?
I don't remember. I know Chris Statlander was in it
It was
at
him,
one.
Bobby, and I forgot the other guy. But they were awesome, man. And they
Yeah.
at the time they were training with Cap. Um, and they will come down and we will work together, and it was just an awesome experience to be able to talk to those guys. They were very down to earth, humble people, great guys.
Um. So this is a little personal question. What is your hobby you do that brings you joy outside of the wrestling world?
Being a father.
Okay.
And I know that's not a hobby. That's a full-time job, but
Yeah.
I love sharing time with my family, my kids, you know,
Yeah.
um, especially because I have four of them and I'm always out in the road. When I'm home, I want to spend that time with them.
Yeah.
Now, aside from that, playing video games. I love it. I love it. You gotta
See,
love
my
it.
hobby is video games. It's to the point where I go stream on Twitch, which right after we're done recording, I'm going to be going live playing NBA 25, my career mode.
How is that, by the way?
That is really good. I just
Is
heard
it?
WWE is going to be doing a style like that now for the
Yeah,
new game.
yeah, yeah. So I've been debating on buying 2K25 NBA because
Yeah,
everybody's like, oh, it's not that great, da 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 da. But I'm like, I'm a fan of NBA 2K,
yeah,
like, so I might pick it up actually. I think it's like $20 on the store. I might pick that shit up.
yeah. I bought it as I was at a Charlotte Hornets game, as I'm in the Charlotte area.
Let me
But I'm a
just
Bucks
let
fan.
me just turn it on real quick. Hold on.
Look, once you get the game, we might have to play against each other.
Yeah, 100%. You let me know, bro. I'll smoke you. Nah, I'm
Go
kidding.
go ahead.
You've been putting too much work into it. If you already had it before me, give me like a week and then I'll smoke you, bro.
Look, the only thing I am really good at is hitting a 3 pointer or just dunking.
How is the I gotta ask you, how is the shooting system in this game?
It's that's a lot easier. I stopped playing the games. So I used to be huge into basketball when the Bucks won the championship.
Right.
And that's when the first time I ever played the game because I used to get bored a lot and I wanted to start my own sports company.
Okay.
And I was like, let me design jerseys on like video games. Like I would go out and buy MLB, Madden, hockey, NBA, NASCAR, and make like custom race cars on there. Go all out, and I'll like collab with a dude, and he made like a
Right.
whole league for me and everything for hockey. And I was like, yeah, this should be a thing. And then like I looked up all the prices for everything, and I was like, nope. I was like, maybe down the road, once I'm successful.
But I'm telling you, I'm gonna get this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get NBA and then I'm gonna fucking smoke you on it, but I'm telling you, give me some time to prep. But
Um,
I'm getting it.
I will say, so I'm a Bucks fan, but it cracks me up because I chose Charlotte Hornets for my career.
Oh, that's wild. Wait, you like the Bucks?
Yes.
No way. That
So I
not
actually got a
not to
Bucks
be
jersey and a
not to be
championship ring.
crazy, not to be
Yeah.
crazy, but you're like I could count in my hand how many people tells me they're a Bucks fan. I don't know why, because they used to have this player. I don't know if they still do have him.
Is it Kemp?
Who is it?
Kemp. I think that's. I can't remember his full name, but I remember it was. He was number 30 something.
I believe so. He was in a NBA 2K cover at one point.
Yeah. See,
Animal, bro.
I'm.
He was an animal.
Yeah, it cracks me up because if you listen to my streams when I play, um, you can hear me just like talk trash about him, like playing against him, and like there's one goal and I love it because for NBA they put me with Mellow Ball on the lineup and like they said, hey, you need to help him get points and make him look good, and all you can hear me when they were giving me that task, and I was like, nah, screw this dude, screw him.
I'm so excited about WWE 2K24 is having
Yes,
the same gimmick as NBA with
you mean when
the whole island process is gonna be nice. Can't wait.
and then the Roman Reigns Island of Relevancy.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's gonna be awesome, dude.
Yeah. Let's. What is your favorite gear that you have ever had made?
Oh, my new one, dude. That's probably like my favorite one. Um,
You got it with you by any chance?
yeah, I do. I mean, I have it downstairs. So I have to go get it. But yeah, I mean, I haven't. I'm gonna bring the phone with me. But
Okay.
I
Oh, that's
haven't.
cool. You have that green screen on. I didn't even notice that.
Oh yeah, you like that, bro?
Well, I have mine with my logo on, but it blows up my logo. And because I sit right in the middle, you can't even see the logo because I'm blocking it all. So all
So
you see is a black screen.
you're gonna see what you're gonna see from this gear. Um, I have one that I haven't even showed anybody yet. That I haven't even
Okay.
worn. I haven't even worn yet. But that's probably one of my favorite ones because it's a little bit out of my comfort zone. If you know me, you know I always wear very. dark colors. So I wear black, red, um, a little bit of white.
Yeah,
So can I flip this camera over? Maybe, maybe not.
yeah. If you go down, let's see. No, that's
Oh well, I got you.
February.
I got you. Hold on. So here it is. This is the. I don't know if you can see it. It's a red pear.
You got to turn the I think the background thing off
Gotcha. Hold on.
because all you see is that like flickering.
Oh, where's this shit at? I don't even know if I could actually after you turn it on.
Um, beats me. I've never done the background.
Maybe I could just do it under the light. Hold on. Let's see if you could see this more. Yeah, it kind of
Okay.
flickers here. So
Yeah.
this right here,
Yeah.
probably one of my favorite ones that I have. I had this created by a guy in Florida,
Okay.
Mr. Paul Jr.,
I've
Mr.
heard of him.
Paul
Bring
Baker.
it again.
But then he created this, dude.
You know, that's giving
Yeah.
me like you remember when Penta came out with the Joker gear style?
Right, right, right. So I wanted it based on the Joker.
Yeah.
But which is funny because the Joker and the Hulk are two of my favorite characters in comic books, and it kind of works the same. You know, the kind
Yeah.
of gimmick with the Hulk and and the Joker, but got that. And this hasn't been revealed yet. I haven't wore this in any show yet. I'm kind of waiting it out. And of course I have um for the purple one, of course I have like either custom pads as well.
Now see, like I'm a gear collector, and now you're just getting me like I kind of want to buy it from you. Like,
Well, the whole set, right? The whole set,
yeah,
which when I first started like making this,
yeah,
I pay somebody to draw it up for me and stuff like that, a designer. And after that I sent it to my gear maker and he did an amazing job. And every piece is customized. Like the two kick pads are different, even the knee pads. Let me see if I can get them from here. But it also comes with a set of knee pads that are also different. Let me see here.
see, my first ever wrestling gear I bought from a wrestler was Brooke Havoc from the Nightmare Factory.
See what I mean?
The Yeah,
Comes with his own set of knee pads, and they're both different. So every piece to this gear is different. Even with the red and black one, it's completely different. Every piece.
yeah. So Brooke Havoc's gear was worn on AEW, her AEW debut.
That's fire.
So, and then also to be trained by Cody Rhodes and QT Marshalls as the first class and everything. Which
That's
she
fire.
is killing the business, I will say, over there in the Western with GCW and over on the Western side of the US,
But JCW is doing their thing right now.
especially with Matt Cardona.
Oh hell yeah! Do you saw like I mean the what was it, the PCO or whatever, with the whole
Destroying the
digital, they're destroying the digital,
Yes, I
the
was
replica,
watching
the replica
it, and
digital.
I remember my friend. He doesn't know like behind the scenes of wrestling and everything, so he literally thought he was destroying the belt.
Right.
I'm like, I'm like, buddy, they're not going to send this guy out to destroy their own title that they just got made this year.
Yeah, nah, that's definitely a replica. I mean, when I saw it, I was like, that's probably like one of the replicas that he like. After you win the title, a couple of
Yeah,
wrestlers do this where they win the title and then they just buy themselves a replica.
yeah.
So I feel like that was his own replica that he just busted.
Now speaking of Evolve, um, congratulations, Jackson Drake and Sean Legacy, one of my two good friends. I will say, love talking to these two guys every time I see them.
100%.
They just got signed to the WWE ID and now have been featured on the WWE Evolve
Oh, that's badass.
intro. So if you
Awesome.
watch the Evolve, the guy that does that backflip in the ring,
Right.
that's Sean Legacy.
That's badass, man.
And every time I see him, I always tell him like, "Hey, you're one of my favorites as like in my top 5." But like I always tell him like Jackson Drake always cracks me up. I've seen him a lot of times wrestle, and I always try to sit by the ramp, and then he always wipes his butt with some fan's hat just to mess with them, just being that heel.
Yeah,
So every time he comes out, I always hide my hat because I'm like, he's gonna do it just to pick on me. Like I'll
that's
put the
funny.
hat behind my back and everything. I'm like, nope. I was like, I walk in with that every show I go to, but you're not messing up. Like I would walk in with a Bucks hat, the Atlanta Braves Bubblegum Series hat when they worked with I think Hubba Bubba.
Right, right.
They did a whole theme to that
That's
with the
badass,
hat,
bro.
came with like a pin with the hat and everything. And I was like, nah, he ain't messing up this hat. But I will say one of the guys I love talking to the most, minus you and Corey, is this guy named Drew Hood.
Oh, I love Drew.
Yeah. Every
The
time I see
mega
him,
star, baby.
exactly. Every time I talk to him, he's like, "What's up, Trevor?" And I always tell him like, "It's always the same old, buddy. We talk a lot of shows because he wrestles a lot in the Carolinas."
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he's, I mean, I'm good friends with Drew. We have a streak on Snap, me and Drew, man.
Damn.
Every morning we like hit each other up, and he's either, by the way, Drew's fucking physique. If anybody has followed my boy Drew Hood and seen his journey when he went from like, I mean, Drew
Mhm.
has never been like big, like he never been like huge fat or anything like that, but
Yeah.
he went from what he was to being like lean, bro. And this man looks like a monster.
Yes.
He works like an animal. He works out like an animal. My man
Yeah.
eats like an animal, bro. Like he looks top shape, bro. And his work, immaculate. I love that fucking
Yeah.
guy.
Have you seen what? I was listening to another podcast, and they were talking about like their favorite seasonings on food and everything. And someone said, Drew Hood doesn't put seasoning on his food, and I'm like, you know, as the guy that goes to Bojangles down here a whole lot just to get the fries and Supremes,
Right, right.
that would ruin the whole thing of Bojangles.
My boy Drew, he eats clean, man. That's how he
Yeah.
stays so in shape, dude. Like
Hmm.
I there's times that I look at myself and then right now, like last year, I was traveling a lot and I gained like maybe like 40 pounds and I saw myself and I was like, oh my God, I gotta start cutting again. And I lost over 23 pounds the first month of the year because I went into a crazy cut. I'm still on
Yeah.
the cut. And Drew is one of those guys that he always knows how to motivate me, bro. I'll be like, I send him a picture in the gym, and he's like, "Yo, you're fucking killing it, bro. Look at the way you look, bro." And I'm like, "What are you talking about, bro? You look fucking what the fuck? Like you should be saying that shit to yourself, bro. Like my man is killing it, bro."
See, if I had to get a trainer to help me like stay motivated in the gym, I would probably have Drew.
Oh yeah, no,
Just because,
absolutely.
like my best friend, he's a figure ice skater, but he is like body built, like a guy that lives off KFC, but jacked,
He's
like
built
has
different.
everything, but like jacked as crap. And I'm like, this guy wants to tell me that he's not a like muscle model or something, but
Right,
like
right.
that's kind of hard not to believe.
No, that's wild, man. Drew Hood is in good shape, bro.
Yes. Where can they find you on social media?
Oh, social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all the same handle, Yankee underscore TDM. Snapchat, Yankee 845. Of course, you'll see my big ass head there if you do have me on Snap. Other than
Yeah.
that, all platforms, YouTube, same concept, Yankee TDM. You'll find me all over the place.
And then thank you guys from Lunar for this cool wristband that you guys sent me.
Oh, that's pretty badass. I like that.
So it's that Bible verse when you see all the time on Instagram.
Right,
Yeah. But I'm just noticing I've been wearing it for like a couple weeks now. And it says trust in God. And I'm like, okay.
right.
Yeah. But the black part right here, you can scan it and it gives you a Bible verse of the day.
Oh, that's pretty badass. See, that's cool shit.
Yeah.
See, like,
And it's waterproof too. So,
I'll tell you one thing. Um, as a Christian, bro, I think that's one of my main things that have kept me going is just going in the Bible, reading, and just having a good relationship with Jesus Christ. Like that thing is probably one of the best things that have happened in my life. I mean, he cleaned me up from the inside out, not from the outside in, from the inside out, and it made me a better person as of today. You know, it's been a blessing.
yeah.
So that's awesome that you rock that, bro.
Yeah.
That's
Hey,
awesome.
Michael, where's Dad at? Can you tell Dad to come here? I'm going to see if I can get him down here to tell one of his stories.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
I love bringing him on, and he just tells the same story, and I'm like, it always makes my day, like his stories,
Yeah,
because I'm great, huh? Okay, never mind. He's not coming down.
yeah. It's like, I'm trying to relax, man.
But and then thank you, Yankee, for being on the podcast today.
Trevor, thank you for having me, man. It's a pleasure.
Um, I know down the road I do want to collab with you, either at a show or something, or maybe when you're at WrestleCade or something.
Yeah, hey, hell yeah, man. Even if I come down to VTW, and you're from the Lions, right? So if I come down from
Yeah.
VTW, you got to be there, man. Got to pull up.
Well, it's funny enough, they invited me to the shows, like their next upcoming show.
All right.
So, are you going to be at that one?
I I don't th is that the one coming up? I think that's coming up in like when, like next month or something like that. A couple of
I don't know.
months.
They never gave me the date. They're just like, you're welcome to come to the next show.
I think I know they were saying the reunion was gonna happen.
Yes. That's
So
the one that they're inviting me to.
yeah, so definitely probably not reunion, probably the one after.
Okay. And then, guys, this is my little favorite closing segment. We have a t-shirt contest going on, guys. So we have the wrestlers one separate from the fans. They're both the same thing. I just decided to divide it up. So then we have two winners. A fan gets to win a free t-shirt, and a wrestler gets to win a free t-shirt. But we have 5 designs made by a professional company. Um, all you guys gotta do is leave your Instagram, your name, your shirt size, and what design. And then thank you to the sponsors of Apple City Championship Wrestling, Wrestling Evolution, and TBD Wrestling.
Guys, thank you so much for having us and sponsoring the show. You guys are a blessing in the wrestling community, and thank you for helping Trevor elevate his game when it comes to this stuff, man.
Yes. As I'll say this, guys, in many episodes, we are currently being watched in 7 different countries, counting the US.
Yes.
And it cracks me up because a lot of those countries are the countries I want to go to.
Right.
So I was like, do I want to go? And then I just get off the airport, and all you see is all these fans waiting for me.
That'd be cool. That'd be badass, man.
Yeah. All right. See you guys next time on the show. Yankee, do you got anything to say before we stop recording?
100%, man. Give the glory to God and continue to pursue your dreams, man. Don't give up on life just because you think that is not what it is. Give it some, give it some thought. Keep pushing. And mental health is real. If you need to go out
Yeah,
there and speak to somebody else about it, speak up. Don't hide that. It's
yeah,
not good to hide it. But with all due, give it to God, trust in God, and He'll guide you through.
yeah. 100%.